So first of all, thank you very much for taking the time to have a look at my video diary. It's something that for a little while I thought I should get going, but haven't got around to it. And anyway, here we are. Now a year has passed since my initial diagnosis, but my plans to keep in touch with people has fallen through the floor. So here I am. This is my excuse on finding a way to keep in touch with people. Let's see what's happened then in the last year. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support, your cards, your specific prayers to Jehovah about me. These really have been heard by Jehovah, and I've seen Jehovah's hand so many times in my situation. So just really a massive thank you to all of you for these prayers. We really do appreciate that very, very much. And once again, an apology for not keeping in touch. It's just my laziness, but I have received literally, I don't know how many, but at a guess I'd say in excess of 500 cards and emails, and as far as text messages go, they're still coming in each day by the trolley load. So thank you very, very much for everything that you've been doing and remembering us and thinking about us continually. So it's really not forgotten at all. And when I'm back and healthy again, then we'll be in touch properly. So maybe if I just give you a quick overview of what has happened in the last year. It was actually on August the 13th, 2008, that they found the tumour. It was quite a large tumour, 6.5 by 5.5 by 5.5 centimetres on the left side, near the centre, about in the middle of my brain. So whatever way they went to do an operation, they'd have to cut through other brain tissue to really get at that. So it was difficult for them to do. They thought that they would take about 3 months to do some preparatory work where they would decide what they wanted to do and how they would proceed in the operation. The operation was something they were planning for me to be awake during it, so that I could tell them if they cut too far. They would know because I'd be conscious, and that was what we were planning on doing. But anyway, different things happened. I had a small operation. I just had a brain biopsy. There's a little hole in my head. I don't know if the camera, there we go, a little hole in my head about there, probably only about a centimetre by a centimetre, and that's where they went in. It was a 4.5 hour operation. They went in to find out what type of tumour it was, what type of cancer it was. And there's an astrocytoma. That's why I didn't get any headaches. So that was excellent. And an astrocytoma is generally quite a slow-growing tumour. So they weren't overly concerned after doing that biopsy on it. And I was very glad that they actually did do that, because later on, when they found my other cancers, they did biopsies on them which were more straightforward, and found out that again that was also another primary they found in my body. So anyway, moving forward, let's come off the brain. We'll move to October, November time. It was getting too painful for me to walk. I was losing a lot of blood out of my back passage, and just generally life was uncomfortable. That was a pretty bad time. My brain I'd given up worrying about by this point, but just the bone cancer now. I didn't realize it was bone cancer at the time. I just thought I had some pain in my legs, or my right leg, the top of my right leg, and which made it difficult for me to stand. But yeah, that was a difficult time. But the doctors took up and paid attention now. I'd been telling them about it for about a year, but now that they'd found a cancer in me, they sat up and paid attention and wanted to do a biopsy of my bone, which they did. They realized that it was a secondary, but not a secondary of my bone. Then they found in my rectum I also had a cancer, quite a sizable one. The comment the doctor made, Dr. Massimo, and he said, "We've never seen this in a 30-year-old, maybe a 70-year-old, but nobody of 30." So that was rather encouraging when I heard that I was one of the first people to have that. But as time went on, by the time it got to December of 2008, I couldn't stand, sit, walk. Everything was becoming just a struggle for me to cope with, and I was losing a lot of blood. They admitted me into hospital. It was quite a relief going into hospital because I could get some pain relief in hospital, and I was very pleased that I could be there. So on the first night of me being in hospital, I thought, great, I'll take this opportunity and have a shower. That was probably one of the biggest mistakes I made of my life, because I fell out of the shower. The pain in my bone became so bad that it affected my brain tumour, which caused me to black out and fall out of the shower onto the floor, smashing up my hip. So now I had a broken hip, as well as everything else. It was really not so cool, shall we say. But anyhow, that was January the 1st I did that, and then a few days later they did radiotherapy on my hip. They wanted to do that on the bone. The purpose of that was to kill the pain, but what it did actually do was cause a lot more pain, because I'd already now broken it, but the treatment was scheduled in before I'd broken it. It's a complicated story, but anyhow, I had that. Normally they give a minute a day. They gave me a 20-minute blast all in one go, and that's what happened in January. I don't actually remember much of January. I was out of it for most of the time. What else happened in January? I don't really remember. I was just unable to move, actually, that's right. I was paralysed, and I see 10 minutes are approaching. I better bridge this to the second YouTube video, so hold on there.